There was once a music video that I saw by a band called Casting Crowns, and it was an extremely powerful video. In this video, it was about a woman who looked like she was a prostitute, and she was hardly wearing any clothes. They were a bit revealing, and she had just come to the end of her rope. She had just come to the end of her life. She was just so tired of living, so tired of being used, and just so tired of the life that she was living, and she wanted something more. And at that point, she saw all of these people going to church, and the people were laughing, they were happy, they were excited, they seemed like their life had meaning, like they were fulfilled, and she just watched them go by, and she yearned for that with all of her might. And later on, you see the girl actually driving into the church parking lot. I mean, these people actually inspired her to come to church. And so she did. And when she got there, she pulled into the driveway and she got her parking spot and she got out of the car, and then she looked down and saw what she was wearing, and she scandalized herself. So she got back in her car, she kind of pulled down her skirt as much as she could, she pulled up her shirt as much as she could, and then she got out of the car and she just wanted to go inside and find what these people had. But as soon as she got out of the car, all of the people who were walking into church started looking at her. They looked her up and down, and they were like, "What are you doing here? Why are you dressed like that? Oh my gosh, how dare you walk on this property?" Like, they didn't say any of this, but you could tell by the words of their mouth and the arrows, the daggers that were coming out of their eyes, that they did not want this woman here and that she was not welcome. They couldn't even believe that she'd wear something like that. How dare she come here like that? Doesn't she have any respect for herself? They didn't even know her story, the poor girl. They didn't know what she had been through. They didn't know her life and where she was coming from, and they judged her so quickly. And it breaks my heart when I watch that, because sometimes we're the same way. We're so shallow. We judge people by exterior appearances. Even the Bible said that God doesn't judge people like we do. He looks into the heart of a person and not to the exterior. But look at a person and look at ourselves. Do we judge people like that? Do we look down on people without even knowing their circumstances? I mean, certainly people used to wear some really low-cut and revealing stuff at my church services, and I used to look down on them. I used to gossip about them. I used to talk behind their back, and I was like, I can't even believe that people dress the way they do at Mass today. They don't know God. They have no respect for His house, and I would go on and on and on. And then one lady came up to me. She's like, "Brian," she's like, "I sort of agree with you, but you're not looking at the whole picture." She said, "These women today in our world, they're lied to. They're lied to about what real beauty is. They're lied to about how to be attractive. And they've only bought into our culture and are living what our culture tells them to be beautiful. The deepest part of a woman, she wants to be beautiful. She wants to be loved. She wants to be cherished. And this is how the world says to do it. How many homilies and sermons have you heard that actually say what true beauty is? How would they know if they've never heard the real message? Most of these women, she said, don't really know. And that humbled me, because I was judging them as if they were really, fully good Catholics and knew better and were fully catechized and had been living their life for years. And many of us are on different roads in our journey and need spiritual conversions, including myself. I judge people way too fast. And I have a hunch that many of you out there judge people a lot too. You judge them the way they dress. You judge them the way they look. You judge them the way they talk. Maybe even judge people online without even knowing them. Many people accuse me of many different things, and a lot of them are very, very false, but they don't know me, and they're making what's called rash judgment, judging things before we even know the full circumstances. There was a story I read in a book once about a dad on a train, and his kids were out of control. They were yelling, they were screaming, they were jumping up and down the seats. Finally, one lady couldn't take it anymore, and she yelled at the man. She said, "Hey, mister, can't you get your kids in control? They're making a ruckus and they're distracting the whole rest of the train." The guy jumps up and kind of out of a daze, he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize." He's like, "My wife just died a couple days ago, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my life. I'm not sure how I can carry on or how I'm even going to make it with these kids." He's like, "I don't know what to do or where to go." And immediately the woman realized that she had judged a situation so rashly without knowing the full volume or the full scope of what was really going on. So I'm just saying, look at your own life. Do you judge? And how much? Because while we are able to judge actions as sins, we can say this is a sin and that's a sin. That's not unbiblical, but we can never judge a person's heart. We can never judge a person's soul. We can never look in there and say, you're this, you're that, you're good, you're bad, because only that's for God. That's only for God. And that poor woman in the video who actually got looked down on by those other Christians, the people who called themselves Christ followers, she ended up in the video getting back in the car, crying her eyes out, and then driving away. She never went to church. She never found Jesus. And she never got that healing or that inspiration that she was looking for because of the way people judged her. And if they had known her situation, they would have taken her by the hand and they would have led her into the church and said, sister, let me help you to find what I found. Don't be judgmental. Look at your life. What part of your life needs to change? We're in Advent right now. This is another holy season. It's a perfect season to look into our lives and say, what do we need to fix? What parts of our life do not match up to Christ? And how do we not walk, talk, and act like him? And maybe you can even answer this question before you go. What have you judged in the past that you've realized you were wrong about? What have you rashly judged in the past? I've told you what I've rashly judged, the people who dress in church. What's something that you've rashly judged in the past? May God bless you and have a great day.